All glory must be to the Lord, to the Lord. Glory is worthy of our praise. Day that you might in heaven, that we will gather University to attend the 94th Inaugural Annual Lecture. Want to say, Lord, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the gift of today. Thank you for the gift of the environment. Thank you for the gift of the lecturer. Thank you, Lord, for the gift of the Vice Chancellor and the
My work is to ensure that we are holding an inaugural lecture of back to back. He is the Vice Chancellor, Professor S. DSS. We have the Deputy Vice Chancellor, and me, Professor Victor. And so we have the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic, Professor Valentine. So by the Vice Chancellor, we have the Registrar of the University, Dr. C. We also have Miss University Librarian, Professor Nwobidi Ede. We have the Chairman, Senate Lectures Committee, Professor Nwobidi Ede. We also have the University Rector, Professor Isaac Z. Also in the midst is the Active Dean in Environmental Sciences, Dr. Olayinos Ihu. And we have the one who has invited us today to listen to him. He is the inaugural lecturer, Professor Precious Ede. Vice Chancellor, sir, we have in our midst our father and former Vice Chancellor, Emeritus Professor S. Medical Sciences, Professor Nwobidi Ede, the welcome, sir. We have the heads of campuses, the welcome. And we also have the deans, the directors, distinguished professors. And we have the wife of the inaugural lecturer and immediate family. Please can you start with the recognition, please? And we have various groups and earlier introduce them, and women dressed in their beautiful attire. And I would like to also acknowledge every other person who have come to honor the university and indeed the inaugural lecturer and say, you're all welcome. It's my pleasure now to respectfully hand over the microphone to our lecturer, who now invite the Vice Chancellor for his opening remarks.
The Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Nwobidi, distinguished service of the State, fellow candidates of administration of Nigeria, Deputy Vice Chancellors and other branch officers at the high table, the 94th Inaugural Lecturer, and one of our own, Professor Precious Ede, the Chairman Lectures Committee, the University Corrector, the former Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Simeon Jeffrey, former Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Nwobidi, former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Nwobidi, Professor Nwobidi, former rector of Port Harcourt Polytechnic, Dr. Sam Kalamo, the wife of our Vice Chancellor, the mayor of Port Harcourt City, Sam Nwobidi Ede, FNAHS, Sorry, Your Majesty, the represented at this meeting, Registrar of National University, who has come to show solidarity to us, members of the NUCT who are here on the reservation to University University, deans of faculties, directors of centers and institutes, heads of departments, heads of campuses, distinguished professors, our very special guests, chiefs, and your royal highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and members of the press. It is my pleasure and singular honor to invite the Vice Chancellor of this university to please give his opening remarks. Vice Chancellor.
Principal officers of this university, the wife of the Vice Chancellor, Mr. Nwobidi, the owner of Port Harcourt, the mayor himself, my brother, you're welcome. That's from the government side, it's not the child of the government side. The man that actually owns Port Harcourt, this is a man. Majesty, welcome. Let me represent the former Vice Chancellors, Provosts, and Deans of faculties. Time has already gone. Permit me to just rely on the established protocol. First of all, let me apologize that we're starting this inaugural lecture meeting. We're having NUC accreditation panel sitting and giving their reports. We had about 4 groups and we needed to attend to them before. So I apologize. I want to appreciate you all for the patience that exhibited waiting for the commencement of this inaugural lecture. It demonstrates their commitment not only to the inaugural lecture, but also their support for the university. I appreciate it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we are having the 94th inaugural lecture of this university, and it's going to be delivered by a person that I can describe as the man of the people. Why do I say so? If you look around the hall, it's full. Somebody up there, and as for government people are struggling to have seats, it demonstrates that the man is somebody that is liked and loved by all. And it is because of the need that I want to appreciate you for all that you have done and you are doing for this great university. Let me just say that Professor Precious Ede, as you will get to know, is the director of academic planning in this university. And since I came on board, I was already there before I came as the Vice Chancellor, and I have been working very, very hard. It will interest us to know that through his efforts and commitment, the last accreditation exercise we had last year, we have 100% all the programs, the accreditation, all 24 programs that we had last year, all had accreditation. And by the grace of God, and with the support and assistance of all those that are involved, and we assist of the NUC persons here, we are also going to get 100%. So we are talking about somebody who is very humble, who didn't see him showing up, and is somebody that relates to everybody, the high and the low in society. That's very precious for you. And you can see that what is going to present today is something that is very, very special, something that we all appreciate, and something like people that we will bring, we know take some of these recommendations very seriously to ensure that we have decision-making processes concerning the atmosphere that will benefit mankind more. That is the aspiration of every academic, to be able to make suggestions that will improve society. And I can tell you that today is where we want to do this. And surprisingly, because the man is hard working, even that's where I come in. I was telling you, I still have an overall lecture, and I still here with us in the NUC accreditation team. It was just a few minutes ago. So that shows the seriousness of the man, the one that is hardworking, somebody that is committed, somebody that is always available and very, very reliable. This is very reliable. I'm happy and proud today is telling the whole world that I have become a professor in Rivers State University. We are also going to benefit because from this lecture, at least people will know that Rivers State University is working and working very well. We are carrying out research in various areas, and today we are going to see some of the research that he has carried out for the benefit of humankind in a particular area related to the atmosphere. As we are going to say that, it was already. I said, I did not something that I'm going to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to talk about radio. I know that it's not the radio. Not on this I know. But I know that I can mention and decide how to read whether the radio will fall or not. But it's a good, ladies and gentlemen. Without saying more, let us listen attentively to this distinguished professor who has made us proud in several ways and is still working and working and working for not only the Rivers State University, but Nigeria as a whole. Thank you and God bless you.
Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me now to invite the University Orator, Professor Nwobidi, to do a citation of the honorary lecturer.
Vice Chancellor, please continue to adopt the Professor's record with the citation on honorary lecture. Professor Ede was born to learn the business of land in and live in support in the Orowo, representing the Prof. area of Rivers State. On July 30, 1963, as a third child of HE, he began his primary education as a former state school in 1968, but completed in 1976 due to interruption of the Nigerian Civil War. He commenced and completed his secondary education between 1976 and 1981 in the famous period grammar school, BMGS, only in Canada area of Rivers State. He trained as a geographer at the University of Port Harcourt, where he obtained his BSc honors, chemistry, and PhD degrees in 1987, 1994, and 2001 respectively. Prof. Ede was employed in the Institute of Geosciences and Space Technology, now Institute of Geosciences and Environment in October 2000 as a research fellow. 2. He was promoted research professor in applied climatology, specializing in air pollution climatology in October 2017. Between 2004 and 2008, he served as coordinator, postgraduate program, Institute of Geosciences and Space Technology, University. He was a visiting lecturer in air pollution and energy technology at the Institute of Program Studies, University of Port Harcourt, for 5 years. Prof. Ede is active in university administration as he has served as C7 in over 28 committees in the university. A dozen of these include chairman, University Non-Academic Committee, member, Joint Council Select Committee for Selection of Vice Chancellor, member, University Design Committee, chairman, University Execution Committee, chairman, Senate Research Committee, director, Academic Plan 2020 to date, pioneer head, Geography and Environmental Development, member, Committee to implement learning management system in RSP. Driver, NCCC Mass Committee. Member, Admission Committee 2020 to date. Member, University Sector Harassment Policy Committee. Member, University Strategic Planning Committee. Prof. has written 2 books. One on research methodology and the other on climate change. He has also concluded 15 chapters in books. He has published over 100 papers in reference conferences and journals. He regularly presents papers in conferences in Nigeria and abroad, and have gone to 18 countries and 5 continents. What is that? He has a citation of over 450 and 8 years of learning. Prof. has supervised over 50 masters and 10 dissertations and theses, including 5 supersedes that are now professors in various universities. He is the editorial board of many journals, such as Associate Editor, Journal of the Nigerian Environmental Society, Journal of the Science and Environmental Research. Presently, he is the editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Journal of Oil and Gas Technology, the flagship journal of Rivers State University. He is a member of several international associations, including the International Society of Urban and Rural Planners, the Netherlands. Professor holds a professional fellowship of the Nigerian Environmental Society, Nigeria Association of Biological Science, and West Coast Society of Nigeria. He is also a member of the Association of Nigeria Geographers and chartered member of the Institute of Management. Based on his publication on air pollution and soot, Professor was appointed chairman, technical committee on soot by the Government of University in 2017. The outcomes from that work of this committee remains the most definitive finding to date on the causes, propagation, environmental, social, and health effects of soot. He also started in fully strategic capacities outside the university. One sustainability master plan, University Sustainability Development Agency, 2008. Leader, Nigerian delegation to International Society of City and Regional Planners, the Netherlands. State Councilor and founding member, West Coast Society of Nigeria. Member, Rivers State Street Control Committee. Chairman, Committee to investigate the appearance of soot in Rivers State. And team member, Niger Delta Environmental Survey. President is one of the children Vice Chancellor Staff, this ladies management. It is my pleasure to introduce you our 94th Inaugural Lecture in training geography, in distinguished research fellow, in city university, a mentor professor, a prolific cultural editor, and a professor of the Professor.
Given how time is against us, I will seek indulgence on me to stand on the already established protocol. The topic. The topic is decoupling spatial system support mechanism in atmospheric crisis. To decouple means to reconstruct. This is time to unravel, make it clearer and make simple. Spatial. Spatial is adjective for space. That which lies between two objects. The distance between myself and any other thing is space. In this case, terrestrial space, not the space through which we get to the moon. Decision support mechanism or system aids in achieving solution in spatial dimensions. Crisis is intense difficulty of danger, requiring important steps and decisions as in atmospheric crisis. Most atmospheric processes are coupled, and the coupling is key to their understanding. This is because atmospheric processes usually involve the atmosphere, the land, and other surfaces like the water surfaces, the sea. And when the three interact, they can lead to the phenomenon we have, whether it is rainfall, air pollution, or otherwise. I have cited two examples of coupled systems there. There is the hydrological cycle, and there is the land-earth system coupled ocean atmospheric and land model applicable to climate change. I want to welcome all of you. May I warmly welcome you all to the 94th Inaugural Lecture of this great university. Today's lecture closes out the series of inaugural lectures in the university of this year. Join me as I decouple the crisis in the atmosphere using social decision support mechanism. My academic focus on influences. The first influence I had in life, of course, is that of my parents. My mother is one of the softest people I ever know, like many mothers are. And my father is also the opposite, a very stern person. I won't call him harsh. May they are so rest in peace. But when you see me, you will have seen my father. Those elders seated over there, I'm sure they will remember my father if they remember if they were here when I was alive. That is one of my influences. My second influence is my teachers. My teachers have molded me in many ways. Without them, I wouldn't have been where I was. I have consulted my teachers even before, during, and after they became my lecturers, and they have contributed so much to directing me to where I was. Thirdly is my friends. I can see many of you in the audience. I want to tell you that I appreciate all you have done to make me whom I am. The good and the bad advice you gave me, we are all useful. My academic focus. There is a blue diagram there that summarizes everything. I was talking with a friend earlier this week, and he said, in his PhD defense, the supervisor the examiner told him to summarize the 300-page work in one sentence. I have summarized them in that picture. That is my academic focus. If you introduce something into the atmosphere, what happens to it? That is my academic focus. That is summary. That simple phrase or sentence I'm just making. representative of the paramount ruler himself. I also have here the mayor, the political head of the local government, who is also a kinsman. It is no less an honor that we have done to him. So let's move to something that is of geographical relevance in our immediate environment. The people I have just referred to now know what I mean when I use the word Ntanormal, when I use the word Odessa, when I use the word Abidjiri. This is a simple water system that passes through Rebis land, somewhere in central Port. I have named one river with 3 local names. It stops somewhere in Obiabo, around Rorasa. Its hydrology is such that in the upper coast, it is fresh water, and in the lower coast, from around Rosette, it is brackish because salt water or saline mixes with it. But this river today is dead. One of the names I call this river, which we call this river Honest, simply means where you can find a lot of streams. When I was not too young, even by the time I was doing my first degree, 30-something years ago, if you go to around process portion of this river, you could still see mosquitoes, crab, and other things jumping around. Today, the river is dead. It is completely silted up, and many properties around them are flooded when there is a river. Therefore, we have a situation where we will no more use that river either for our own livelihood, and the river has become something that has come down us. The beauty of my discipline is its ability to integrate influences that occur in a system that has human and physical components and give interpretation. This is because this river, as it comes from Orasa, flows through Abacha. It picks up all the urban influences. It crosses Iko. They wash Greece and other them into it. And by the time it gets to about where Port Harcourt Primary School is, it is completely finished. The sediments that are brought down still sit up. The things we have done on the river banks as it flows kills whatever life remains there. So the biologists have an interest in what I'm saying. The chemists have an interest. The hydrologists have an interest. But it is only geography that couples all these influences. It is the only subject area that has the tool to integrate all these various influences and give meaning to what is happening. The complete geographical scale of Earth. The geographical space is constantly evolving and facing new challenges. It is not a static surface. So long as things on the Earth's surface don't remain the same, geography will be relevant because it will have something to talk about. It will have challenges to respond to. Any discipline that cannot respond to challenges cannot exist. Disciplines are subscribed to only for what problem they can solve. And that is where my discipline is. Today, something is dominating our attitude to life. Mobile telephone, we're now acting like social media, autonomous vehicle, robotics, information in general, virtual and augmented reality. These technologically driven changes impact on space. They tell us whether we work, become mere consumers of things. You know, I have heard some colleagues protest that students' class attendance is declining. If you go watch very well, it will be social media that is taking them back. So, how we work, where we work, whether we work from home, whether we work remotely, from office, or while we are on the move. These are the things that will shape the way the Earth surface will be organized. And the way the Earth surface is organized is what my discipline is all about. And by extension, how we learn, how we spend our leisure time, and others are very, very important to us. So that raises a lot of questions to the geographer. How will space be organized optimally to accommodate these nutrients? How will space evolve in view of these nutrients to benefit man and this environment? We must think hard. If our students are refusing to come to class, could we begin to broadcast lectures to them where they are? Take it to them, using the devices in their hands, so that they can begin to now respond. We must find a way of blending what used to be and what is coming, or what is not, so that everybody can participate optimally in the emerging space. Crisis in the atmosphere. Yes, the atmosphere is my special baby. Given how enormous the discipline is, I chose one little portion to exercise my academic endeavor. So, I will tell you a lot today about the atmosphere. The crisis in the atmosphere has many dimensions, but I have summarized them to air pollution, climate change, and meteorological disaster. Each of these has serious impact on our livelihood. And that is because you cannot touch one side and let another. Air pollution worldwide, according to one, costs 19% of all cardiovascular deaths, 24% of ischemic heart disease deaths, 21% of stroke deaths, and 23% of lung cancer. Don't think this is distant from us. It is taking place right here in Port Harcourt, and you will see the evidence. Atmosphere in crisis. In human cosmology, there is God up there, and we all look up and pray to him. Then there is man here on earth. Then man on earth sits on plants and animals and the physical earth. All of these interact. And as they interact, crisis arises. But plants don't cause crisis. The earth doesn't cause crisis. God, of course, will not give us trouble. It is the human being. All the crises you find in the environment, in the atmosphere, are caused by man's activity. We don't need to be very sophisticated to know it. Some consequences of this crisis as it affects the atmosphere are 92% of people worldwide do not breathe clean air, and that definitely includes all of us. It costs the global economy $5 trillion dollars every year. Water shortages would lead to regional instability. I was speaking to somebody the other day. In the crisis that is going on in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas, the president of France gave a BBC interview about 10 days ago. And he veered off and was looking at crisis in West Africa as was confirmed by the interviewer. He told us in that interview that it is a problem of Lake Chad drying up to less than a quarter of its original size that is at the root of Boko Haram and other crises in that region. In other words, water shortages will lead to a lot of crises. Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia are all gearing up for war as a result of the usage of the Nile water. It is expected that this will reduce food production by more than 30% by 2030. That is the climate crisis. Air quality in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is a well-planned city, well by Nigerian standards. Current population is about 2.6 million. That's for the greater Port Harcourt area, comprising about 8 local governments. It suffers from some of the worst air quality episodes, and soot in the atmosphere of the city caused a lot of problem some years ago, and it has not completely cleared. In over 50 studies and publications have proven that the air quality of Port Harcourt is a function of meteorology and human action. In other words, the weather, the atmosphere, is responsible for the amount of or dosage of poor air quality you receive in relation to where you are. A friend once went to somewhere in Eleme local government and bought a property. I told him, my friend, I have done some work there before. I don't like the location. In other words, we all need to re-examine, even as people who live in Port Harcourt, where we live, what portion of the city we like to live in, because the impact of poor air quality varies from place to place, even within the city. The black suit radon. I called it the radon because the sudden appearance of black soot in the atmosphere of Port Harcourt and its environment in the last quarter of 2016 led to public demonstration. Now, when I say this, that there was public demonstration, we are human beings. Our memories are not as good as we may claim what is happened, and I will show you evidence. You know, there was panic in the city of Port Harcourt. If you listen to the radios in the morning, people were calling in and literally crying. People moved out of Port Harcourt. People who are vulnerable to poor air quality, they left the city for. Nobody assuaged the fear of the public until I and the team I set up unraveled the radio, and I will show you how we did it. This is public demonstration with a date there, 11th of February 2017. This is a River State government publication telling the public that they are aware that there is something called soot in the air of the Harcourt, but that they do not know what it is. I have reproduced the publication. This is the then Commissioner for Environment giving interview to foreign news media, VOA and Dr. German and American outlets, even BBC, they were all there. Even I was interviewed by BBC in my office in this university. This is UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program and World Health Organization team that came to visit the government. That is the picture, and that is the text. They were all looking for what happened. These big names and organizations never knew, never could explain what happened until we did. I'm saying we because I didn't work alone, but I led you. This is the US consular official with the former commissioner on the 10th of April 2018. What it was. Now, see the first effort to solve the problem. First quarter of January of 2017. The paper we produced there, satellite determination of particulate load over water during black soot incidents, completely unraveled the mystery of the black soot for the first time. And that is when all the demonstrations, all the panic started dying down. Let me quote a sentence in that publication. One of the mysteries related to the Port black soot phenomenon, which this study has tackled, is the source. Figure 1 to 9 unmistakably align the trajectory of southwest northeast direction over Port. That is, the origin of the soot was a few kilometers south of the city, and we have quoted the source. Later, based on that publication, River State government invited me to a meeting. And when I got to that meeting, a technical committee of soot was set up. And I was made the chairman of the committee to further investigate the suit and confirm my earlier claim in that paper that I have already published. This is the back cover of our work. And that is the list of people who contributed to this report. The Vice Chancellor, in his opening remark here, said this university does research. It is true that this university does research. Because on that list, out of all the key contributors to that research, only one is from outside this university. And half of them, I will call their names: Dr. Doba, Dr. William Yama, Dr. Rogers Variture, Dr. Muyajino Loye, they are all in this hall. David Alabarika. These are my students in this university. And their PhDs were based on this suit In other words, the research continued even when we unraveled the mystery of the suits. There is one important issue. It will be easily misconstrued to say, okay, you say you did. Any proof? This simple diagram is the proof. We conducted a before and after experiment. And one of the chiefs here present, he did this diagram. He is also an associate professor in this university. Dr. Very well. This is his work in the team. We looked at hospital records in every local government of this university 18 months before the suit manifested in 2016. Then we looked at the same record 18 months after the suit manifested. And when we disaggregated the data, we realized that a certain number of people, 117 people, died of respiratory tract infections before the suit started. And that 18 months after the suit started, over 5,000 people, that is fivefold, died for the same period of time from respiratory tract infection. And that there was a big jump in respiratory tract infections overall in the whole of Rivers State. So we asked the question, what is it that has caused that spike of over 500% in respiratory tract infections? The only thing we could reliably hope to have caused it was the presence of soot. The soot, especially at that peak period, increased mortality across Rivers State. We may not know it, but that is what the data shows. Before our study, we asked several questions. What is causing this soot? Where was it coming from? What was the chemistry? Were there health effects? Can it be stopped? Can it be reduced? I want to tell you that 1 year after we were constituted, we had answers to all of these questions. And we were able to say where it was coming from. For the first time, we were able to show that the soot is coming from somewhere south and southeast of Port Harcourt. That if you engage in anything that will affect the environment outside of this direction, it will not affect the city proper. So we recommended efforts should be made. We also recommended that this soot travels about 15 to 25 kilometers in a diagonal cycle. Therefore, if you go to 15 to 25 kilometers and stop whatever activity it was that was causing this soot, it will not affect people in Port Harcourt. We also looked at the chemistry. We were able to do a fingerprinting of the soot, and we realized that only the combustion of heavy oil could cause soot in Port Harcourt. How does the combustion of heavy oil cause it? The people take crude oil, they refine it. The heavy oil that remains, they use it to fire the next day's pot. That was the cause. And when they stopped, because they have reduced or stopped it, that is why there is no more soot. So we know what caused it. We know how it was propagated. We knew the health effect, and we knew what can be done to stop it. That was why, when our report was written, and the then governor of Rivers State heard about it, he invited us, I am writing, more specifically myself and Dr. Wanda, to come and address the State Executive Council. And we went there and addressed the State Executive Council and told them what it was. Shortly after our address, His Excellency is a 1 year week. In fact, on a campaign, you all remember, he went into the bush to stop the suit. It is part of the reason why we are relatively living without much suit to them. The climate change crisis. Another dimension to my effort was in the area of climate change. Climate change has been described by the United Nations as the most important challenge to the survival of man today. And I have evidence to show it. This is a Google page. The Google page shows the most important crisis the world is facing today. Climate change is at the top. It is followed by war and military conflict. Then you have water contamination. Then you have human rights violation, global health issues, and so on and so forth. So, how come we are ignoring climate change? Because it is already raining us, and we need to do something about it. This is the cover of a book written as far as 2016 in this university. All the researchers, led by me, wrote this. And it was case specific on River State. Scenario planning for climate change mitigation and adaptation in River State. It has become a source of daily subsequent research. In this book, we were able to apply the sources of greenhouse gases, stakeholders engagement, drivers of climate change. We explored the scenarios and alternatives and adaptation and mitigation measures. In other words, we have not rested on our laurels. Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I know I don't have all the to prove myself, but I'll begin to wind up by many more specific things that my education into geography and climate has enabled me to achieve. The first one is emission modeling, and we'll get details later. The second is determination of critical flare parameters, numerical modeling of emission, influence on public policy, mapping for disease control, critical decision support surveys, cumulative impact assessment, institutional planning, and many others. Let's take the first one. This is an actual 3D reproduction of the models we ran in the original article I showed you to determine this climate change thing. Sorry, this black sheep thing. It was through the effort of this model that we were able to determine a whole lot of things concerning this climate change. Milestone 1. Suit was decoupled. I have said a little about how it was decoupled and my role in it. Milestone 2. Determination of critical parameters. In 1995, the World Bank published a milestone book on the Niger Delta and the crisis in the Niger Delta, in the immediate aftermath of the crisis in the world in the early 90s. And they could not say much about flare parameters as it relates to gas flare. In fact, I have a portion of their work where they said emissions from gas flaring are difficult to evaluate as only little is known about flame temperatures. The flares are said to be operating at temperatures between 300 and 1,486. That is a big gap, which may be the case in the center of the flare. This portion of that World Bank publication was so imprecise, it cost me to carry out an investigation. And I carried out an investigation, and there's a table on the right-hand side of the screen that was published thereafter that shows exactly the value of gas flares in different locations. And we precisely showed that it is about 1,300 degrees Celsius. That was the first time that was ever done anywhere in Nigeria. We went further to evaluate all parameters, both physical, chemical, and otherwise of their parameters. And when I did this for a certain company in Port Harcourt, the entire management sat down in their conference hall and listened to my presentation. Milestone 10, numerical modeling of air quality. Before now, if you want to know the quality of air around you, you pick up a probe. You expose it and it tells you the value. But the problem with that method is it does not tell you what was, what will be, and how it will look like in the future. But when you use numerical model, you are able to make predictions. You are able to get a holistic view of what you are presenting. So it tells you what was, which is the method we use to determine the source of the source. What is and what can be. That is a big contradiction. In milestone 4, we influence public policy. I want to take some quotations, some paragraphs from the work we did for River State government. In the portion that is in black, we said, noting that such particles are not documented causes of respiratory illness, some cardiovascular conditions, and most especially in the long term. They are also implicated in the development of cancer in lung, renal, prostate, etc. Consequently, the following is suggested for ease of accessibility of treatment and rehabilitation services when required by any affected resident. The establishment of the state-of-the-art cardiorespiratory center. There is something like that in River State, and it came about after our records. That the government of River State established cardiovascular and cancer treatment centers are testaments to the influence of our study, which was presented to River State Executive Council on the 10th of May, 2019, in person by me. We mapped several communities. Remember at the beginning of my presentation, I said we map in geography. We mapped for the meteorological survey. We mapped for the Ministry of Health. We mapped for the World Bank in over 15 instances. And all these are rural places. We didn't map what's happened. I have two examples here. One is Aba, where one of the campuses of this university is located in it. And the other one, I can't see it clearly from there, Igbo, somewhere behind the airport. I just cited these two examples, but there are over 50 of these. These are unmapped areas that we went into for disease surveillance and especially the eradication of malaria that we were commissioned to work. That's another milestone. We also take critical decision support surveys where companies have to take a decision as to whether to stay or not to stay. The special will not allow me to name those specific instances, but it's spread across the Niger Delta. We did cumulative impact assessment studies. Many people are into environment in this subject, but only a few will have had experience in cumulative impact. The beauty of this process is that we integrate several sources of impact into one simple model in order to see how cumulatively it affects the receptors for those impacts that is under consideration. We also supported institutional planning framework. We were involved in Greater Port Harcourt Master Plan. The references are there. And if you look at volume 2 of the Greater Port Harcourt Master Plan, you will see my work there on strategic environmental assessment. We also drafted the Green Book that regulates the environment in River State 2 times, one about 2002 and later in 2010. We also mapped targets for law enforcement. The police have used it to apply mapping in their control or surveillance for law enforcement. We were involved in River State Sustainable Development Agency Master Plan, We were involved in Niger Delta Development Commission Master Plan. I have been involved in the National Emergency Management Planning for early warning systems in the Niger Delta. And in Ede and others, we proposed a role for air quality in Port Harcourt's physical plan, given how pollution has become a problem in the city. Conclusion. I stand before you today to demonstrate how concerted academic effort produces practical solutions and explanations to the problems humankind face. And I did my fair share as an academic in my field when challenged. Poor air quality has produced a new dimension to the commercialization of life. In many places on earth, people breathe unwholesome air. An indigenous entrepreneur in India has even produced oxygen kills. It is no more futuristic thinking that the rich influence the air quality around them. They are already able to modify it through air conditioning, while the poor can be trapped in the poor air quality. Not so long ago, the situation was also applicable to our drinking water. 30 years ago, nobody buys bottled water. We all drank from the tap by the street. I will be surprised if there are people in this hall today who don't rely on bottled water for their nourishment. That is what happens when we do not respect the environment and we pollute it with reckless abandon. Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, if it is academics only, I have done more than my fair share and was rewarded handsomely. As at today, and for a large part of my life, I feel inherently fulfilled in the direction my efforts took. My purpose here is to share with you this experience in relation to my works in geography as an academic discipline and my contribution to applied climatology. To share with you the wonders of it and the fortune it confers. And I am certain that I have proven myself. What I am now is what I have always wanted to. Study a course that I have a passion for. Hope that it translates to a thoroughly fulfilled life that may be my dreams. I happily announce that that is exactly where I am. Recommendations. The man-made atmospheric crisis is a product of modern lifestyle and development. Individual, society, and government can do a lot to reverse the negative trend. What you can do as individuals, I have listed them: conserve energy, look for energy stars. Car too. Don't use one big car, you riding alone. It doesn't help the environment. Consider purchasing portable gasoline containers, keep car, boats, and other engines properly functioning. Be sure your tires are properly inflated, use environmentally safe oils, and so on. Nigeria as a country can also do a lot. Fuel subsidy as practiced in Nigeria is not only a drain on the economy because it discounts the urgently needed energy needs for the country. Nigeria wants to show leadership on all sides of air pollution since so many of the citizens die from it. A national emission inventory database needs to be instituted. There are no statistics and emissions. We need to begin to gather statistics. No clear-cut value emission standard exists in Nigeria. Today, you cannot drive the streets of a typical Nigerian city without a car ahead of you, emitting smoke that pollutes your own car. We have to do something about all this. Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge all those who have made it possible, beginning with my amiable Vice Chancellor, Professor Nwobidi Ede. After what he told you about me today, I am very short of what you said to further implement myself. But I want to tell you that he has supported me so much because my work in this school as Director of the Planning and the head of the department program will be very personal. Moments before we got started today's program, we were all together intensely trying to run up accreditation program for so many programs. And we all have to do all that daily, you know. And if you look back, say yesterday, we probably did a similar thing. But with him directing us and standing by us, everything sometimes looks so easy. Let us thank the principal officers of this university. Almost all of them have been elected, the deputy vice chancellors, both academic, both admin and academic, Professor Abicho and Professor Omodo. I want to thank you for the love you always show on me. The librarian, the registrar, Dr. Sidney Minda, and the librarian. Anytime I am in this, I feel at home because they are always urging me and finding ways by which I can deliver whatever task I'm doing. I am privileged to have their royal highnesses here today. The paramount ruler is a very himself. Passed a message to me on why we cannot make it, but I will send a representative. And we sent a message for Kabir, my good friend, and the entire paramount, the Paramount City Council of Chief. Here present, I can see all of you. I thank you all for finding time to come. I am highly honored. If you are not here today, I will have ended up speaking like an orphan. Thank you. I can't see a chairman of city local government. I made just one call to him and he promised me he would be here. Frankly, I was surprised. Really glad that the political climate of the state. I am very grateful he was able to make it. Thank you so much. I do not have any person in this hall who taught me. But wherever I am, my teachers, I want to pay homage to all of you. You have made somebody out of me. I remember clearly somebody like Professor Mrs. Salah, Dr. Mrs. Salah of the University of HARCOURT. She had a strange way of knocking it into you, and she tried. Frankly, while I was under her tutelage, it was not easy going. But when I left her, I realized that I have been armed with tools that enable me to achieve many of the things I'm presented to you. So, still in the area of academics, I would like to thank Professor Mrs. Okodengo Owe. She is my mentor. She is a geographer, specializing in I also thank Professor Adam, Professor T.K. When I was traveling to get promotion, he used to guide himself to a point where he would see sadness in his face. It turns out more helpful. And I'm very grateful. I want to thank my friends, but there are so many of you here. I have seen Donald go back in the audience. I have seen Chief Dr. Samuel in the audience. I have seen even among the chief, like Chief Ojima. And I can see Dr. Paul. How many of you? I want to thank all of you. I can't name you because if I begin to call the names here, I may miss out something. I want to thank Dr. Mrs. Okoye.
Big morning. Thank you for coming. I want to thank finally, I want to thank the people in my organizing committee. Let me tell you that I never raised a finger to get this thing done. Half of those who are my fellow students, in spite of my nature, I have a language. My students still amazes me when they come close to me. I want to thank you because what I demonstrated is pure love. I have not in any way supported anything that will, in the future, bring negative reputation to you. And that in itself causes us a lot of disagreement. But yet, you never forget the acts you have done in this position by populating seriously the organizing committee. It has really been tough for me this period, yet we were able to get to where we are. So this is testament to their experience and their love for me. I'm very grateful. Finally, I want to speak about my family. Unfortunately, they are not able to make it for some reasons. Family is what I live for. In them, I find a reason to go the extra mile. I therefore thank my children, Lambert, Norman, Emily, Mitch, and Kanye for their care and love. I will thank God for making this day possible. There is nothing in my past that suggests that someday I will become a professor. Yet I am. And I have tested my capacity in far too many platforms, both and abroad, to convince myself that truly I am. And here I am, professing, and telling you the things about. I am very proud of it. I just believe you the greatest acknowledgement and all the glory. Thank you all.
To request our minister once again to invite the masters of Western members. Mr. President, I'm in the ceremony. It is now my pleasure to invite the masters of the place in which closing remarks.
Distinguished ladies and you will agree with me that the Rivers State University did not make a mistake in appointing and promoting Professor Precious Ede as a professor in this university. He has demonstrated that he has the required expertise by showing us the importance of the complaint and special as key terms in the study of geography. And it's not about the fact that geography is a decision support mechanism, which is very, very important for us. And the decision support system is one that enables us to make decisions concerning activities in various domains, such as business, finance, management, or even medicine. According to him, geography tries to understand or explain the complexity between social and natural variables and man's role in the environment. He stated that the preferred crisis which we are experiencing today is largely based on the fact that we are having air pollution and we related various aspects of air pollution. According to him, this crisis in the atmosphere is largely man-made. It means therefore that we need to work on ourselves to ensure that we minimize this kind of challenge that we're having the world over. We talked about Black Suit Radio, which was unraveled by him and his team in 2018. Now, he went further to say that arising from that, the River State government took a decision, a policy statement that has benefited all of us today. There's a good ladies and gentlemen, but he did not tell us, and I know he will tell us that on the private, that the handshake that they received from the Excellency of the because that was a sponsor kind of reason. But the important thing is that as a result of that exercise, today we are able to now understand how the Black Suit phenomenon came to be and the measures that have been taken to minimize its impact. We talked about the fact that arising from the Black Suit phenomenon, we had instances of respiratory tract infections, which led to further reports and research by him and his team. And eventually, today, with the grace of God, we now have this respiratory infection disease diagnostic center and cancer diagnostic center in the university arising from what that research showed. And then we talked about the climate change crisis. Now, Mr. Bush, ladies and gentlemen, if you are wondering, I'm now telling you there is climate change crisis. Today is the 29th day of November 2023, and we're still having rainfall. It never used to be so. That shows us clearly that there is climate change and challenges on the environment. And according to him, climate change is the single biggest health threat facing humanity. What can we do as humans to minimize the impact of this? He has also shown us that arising from all these challenges, he has carried out a number of researches himself and his team. And he did attention to some of the milestones achieved because of his research work in this university. We talked about the Black Suit Utopia, which I mentioned earlier. We talked about the determination of critical flare parameters. Flare points are everywhere in River State. If you are not aware, you go to Rubin. There's a flare point there. And we are suffering it over the years. Several other communities in River State are also suffering the same thing. We talked about numerical modeling for air quality, influence on public policy, leading to the establishment of the cardiovascular cancer diagnostic center at the university, which I mentioned earlier. And then we talked about the mapping for epidemiological survey in over 50 communities in River State. And also, the critical decision-making and support system survey carried out by his team. And then, of course, we talked about cumulative impact assessment studies carried out by his team. And finally, we talked about institutional planning and framework. These are instances of the numerous research work and activities carried out by the inaugural lecture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have benefited immensely from this lecture today. But he went further to also recommend a few things. I've just mentioned 2 or 3. He said that we need to conserve energy everywhere and to go to the office, wherever you find yourself, to conserve energy. And then we should look for energy star label when buying new office equipment. So this one is also for all of us. When we are buying something, check whether it is one that is energy compliant. And then we also need to combine errors and reduce trips using vehicles because of the emission of gas and all those things that come with vehicles. We need to work to errors when possible. It's not a long distance, you don't need to drive. You can walk down and achieve what you want to achieve. And then importantly, it suggests that in consideration of the foregoing, that Nigeria needs to play a leading role and show leadership on issues relating to tackling air pollution. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, what an important lecture we have had today. Prof, thank you very much for this. Very well demonstrated their expertise, their command, mastery of the subject, and the way you presented this lecture today. I want to appreciate you and to say that this is what we have been doing as a university. By the grace of God, we have been having inaugural lectures every month. And this one is very special because it may be the end of the lecture for this year. We're having another one. We have one on the 20th, we have another one on the 20th of December. So you can see that we are moving and moving very, very well. So, Mr. Ladies and gentlemen, we request that when next we invite you, find time to honor us with your esteemed presence. Thank you and God bless you.
Questions, President? It's my pleasure to again to decorate the inaugural lecture.
Today is the 29th day of November 2023. I decorate Professor Precious Ede with this medal indicating that he has given the 94th inaugural lecture of Rivers State University. And as the lawyer said, it's a way this one is primary evidence. I'm not the dean of law here. This one is primary evidence of the fact that today, 29th day of November 2023, Professor Precious Ede has delivered the 94th inaugural lecture of Rivers State University.
Vice Chancellor, permitting us to invite the Chairman and Senate Lecturers Committee for the hosting for the documents.
The Vice Chancellor, time is fast spent. Let me have the University Management and Senate Lecturers Committee and all of you guys attending this program. God bless you. Guide you in the various ways in Jesus' name.
Vice Chancellor, may I invite our father, Emeritus Professor S.C. Chile, for the closing prayer.
Almighty God, thank you for bringing us safely to the end of this day. Thank you for the life of this university and what you are doing in this university. As we move now to go home, lead us home safely. In Jesus' name we pray.
The university anthem.
The Vice-Chancellor of the Rivers State University, NKPOLU-OROWORUKWO Port Harcourt, Professor Nlerum Sunday Okogbule, on behalf of the Governing Council and the entire university community, cordially invites you to the university's 94th Inaugural Lecture. Topic: Decoupling Spatial Decision Support Mechanism in Atmospheric Crisis. Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Precious Nwobidi Ede, Professor of Climatology and Air Pollution. Date: Wednesday, 29th November 2023. Time: 2 p.m. Venue: Dr. Nyesom is in Nwobidi Senate Building, Rivers State University. Virtual attendees can join via the link bit.ly/Prof Ede-inaugural.
For inquiries, call the registrar Dr. Sydney Ilinda on 08138063864.
See you there. The Vice-Chancellor of the Rivers State University, NKPOLU-OROWORUKWO Port Harcourt, Professor Nlerum Sunday Okogbule, on behalf of the Governing Council and the entire university community, cordially invites you to the university's 94th Inaugural Lecture. Topic: Decoupling Spatial Decision Support Mechanism in Atmospheric Crisis. Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Precious Nwobidi Ede, Professor of Climatology and Air Pollution. Date: Wednesday, 29th November 2023. Time: 2 p.m. Venue: Dr. Nyesom is in Nwobidi Senate Building, Rivers State University. Virtual attendees can join via the link bit.ly/Prof Ede-inaugural.
For inquiries, call the registrar Dr. Sydney Ilinda on 08138063864.
See you there. The Vice-Chancellor of the Rivers State University, NKPOLU-OROWORUKWO Port Harcourt, Professor Nlerum Sunday Okogbule, on behalf of the Governing Council and the entire university community, cordially invites you to the university's 94th Inaugural Lecture. Topic: Decoupling Spatial Decision Support Mechanism in Atmospheric Crisis. Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Precious Nwobidi Ede, Professor of Climatology and Air Pollution. Date: Wednesday, 29th November 2023. Time: 2 p.m. Venue: Dr. Nyesom is in Nwobidi Senate Building, Rivers State University. Virtual attendees can join via the link bit.ly/Prof Ede-inaugural.
For inquiries, call the registrar Dr. Sydney Ilinda on 08138063864.
See you there. Vice-Chancellor of the Rivers State University, NKPOLU-OROWORUKWO Port Harcourt, Professor NLerum Sunday Okogbole, on behalf of the Governing Council and the entire university community, cordially invites you to the university's 94th Inaugural Lecture. Topic: Decoupling Spatial Decision Support Mechanism in Atmospheric Crisis. Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Precious Nwobidi Ede, Professor of Climatology and Air Pollution. Date: Wednesday, 29th November 2023. Time: 2 p.m. Venue: Dr. Nyesom Ezenwa-Wike Senate Building, Rivers State University. Virtual attendees can join via the link bit.ly/Prof Ede-inaugural.
For inquiries, call the registrar Dr. Sydney Eyinda on 08138063864.
See you there. The Vice-Chancellor of the Rivers State University, NKPOLU-OROWORUKWO Port Harcourt, Professor NLerum Sunday Okogbole, on behalf of the Governing Council The Vice-Chancellor of the Rivers State University, NKPOLU-OROWORUKWO Port Harcourt, Professor Nwobidi Ede, on behalf of the Governing Council and the entire university community, cordially invites you to the university's 94th Inaugural Lecture. Topic: Decoupling Spatial Decision Support Mechanism in Atmospheric Crisis. Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Nwobidi Ede, Professor of Climatology and Air Pollution. The Vice-Chancellor of the Rivers State University, NKPOLU-OROWORUKWO Port Harcourt, Professor Nwobidi Ede, on behalf of the Governing Council and the entire university community, cordially invites you to the university's 94th Inaugural Lecture. Topic: Decoupling Spatial Decision Support Mechanism in Atmospheric Crisis. Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Nwobidi Ede, Professor of Climatology and Air Pollution. Date: Wednesday, 29th November 2023. Time: 2 p.m. Venue: Dr. Nyesom Ezenwo-Wike Senate Building, Rivers State University. Virtual attendees can join via the link bit.ly/Prof Ede-inaugural.
For inquiries, call the Registrar Dr. Sydney Eyinda on 08138063864.